Hello, beloveds. I am Li Kynvi, and welcome to our Good Enough Lent reflections. Elea Kemler and I are going to take turns reading passages from Kate Bowler's book, Good Enough, 40 Devotionals for a Life of Imperfection. And there is a companion guide to it that's available for anybody on the internet. It's called A Good Enough Lent. And we'll be referring to this, but if you want to download it for free and print it or work with it on your screen, you're welcome to. You just go to katebowler.com, Katebowler. And when I went in there, there's a pop-up window that you can just click and say, download the Good Enough Lent Guide. So this is just an introductory video. I'm going to read you a little bit about how to kind of work with these reflections. The first thing I want to say is that we're adapting Kate's reflections just a little bit because we are geared toward Unitarian Universalists, and some of the, Lent is a very Christian-oriented season, and Christianity is one of our sources. It's one of the roots of our faith. And we also recognize that many people in our congregation don't identify as Christian. So obviously you can go to the original book if you want to see the original text, but we're slightly adapting. We also want to invite you, no matter how you identify theologically, to translate any of the language here into what makes sense for you. So if you hear the word God, and the word God isn't something that, a word, a concept that means something to you, or especially if it bothers you, find out what word or phrase works for you and just freely translate in your mind. Every time you hear God, you're going to substitute whatever it works. Love, spirit of life, web of existence, great mystery. Whatever language works for you, please just translate it in your head. So one of the things we'll start off with in this introductory video is 3 points about what kind of faith is good enough. Number 1, a good enough faith will establish a sort of rhythm of life to sustain momentum. These are not an effort to ensure 7 steps to guaranteed sainthood, but rather to remind us that closeness with God is not just a question of belief. It's also in the small actions that we can take. Number 2, a good enough faith is not reaching for the impossible. We can't be everything to everyone or even enough for ourselves. We're human. And number 3, a good enough faith looks for beauty and truth in what's possible. No, not everything is possible, but we will hunt for the places where we can find an opportunity for a little more. Truths, there's a list of truths to start loving even more. So these are things that are true that we can start loving them even more. Number 1, we are made for interdependence. Number 2, we are fragile, and so is everyone else. But we can learn to live beautifully inside our limited bodies. Number 3, yes, our stupid, imperfect, ordinary lives can be holy. Number 4, life will break your heart, and there's nothing wrong with you if you know that. And lastly, sometimes joy and laughter and absurdity are the exact medicine we need. But also, we need actual medicine. We love actual medicine, too. So these reflections are designed to do during Lent, but you can do them anytime. You can do them any time of day. There is no catching up. You do not have to do them all. You can do them in order. You can skip around. It doesn't matter. As Kate writes, trust us, no one is keeping score. So every time, every reflection also includes a prayer or a blessing, because as Kate Bowler writes, we believe in blessing the crap out of people. So there's a simple prompt at the end of these that's called the good enough step to move you toward action. And then Kate writes, no, not every transformation is possible. But yes, there are some things that we can do to inch toward deeper, richer, truer kind of faith. So we begin with a blessing for a joyfully mediocre journey. Blessed are you who realize there is simply not enough time, money, resources. Blessed are you who are tired of pretending that raw effort is the secret to perfection. It's not. And you know that now. Blessed are you who need a gentle reminder that even now, even today, God is here, and somehow that is good enough. And so we begin.